Dobar dan svima. Welcome to Creative Bosnia and Herzegovina today and tomorrow, our creative online panel discussion. Today we will have a chance to discuss with cultural workers, artists, and managers on culture during and post-COVID in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in Europe. My name is Elmi Hodžić and I will be your today's host. I'm very privileged and honored to be hosting this event as one of the events which we are trying to organize in order to celebrate Europe Day. And I really hope that we will have a fruitful discussion. So please be very honest, be very creative, and do not hesitate to ask questions because these questions are not just created by me. You can also be very active in making this conversation fruitful for all of us. I'm very honored to have you as my today's speakers. I will just briefly introduce who are our today's speakers, but I would also like to give you a chance to introduce yourselves. Today we will be privileged to speak with Ms. Sabine Ekrnthaller, Ambassador Sattler, Marini Đapić, coordinator of Mostar Street Art Festival, but also a musician. Mirzi, an actor from Tuzla, but also a director of theater of Tuzla. And Denis Hodžić, visual artist from Sarajevo and Bugojno. So before we start, I would like to share a very personal story with you guys. I am actually a curator and art historian from Sarajevo, and one of the fields of my expertise is art during the war. And I've been exploring how we can actually use, how people have been using art in order to overcome the crisis during the last war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've been so inspired by the interviews with different artists from different fields that have been very active in cultural life of Bosnia and Herzegovina during the war. And I think that their stories are true examples of how we can actually overcome the crisis. And when the pandemic started, I actually felt that the art can also serve as a platform to overcome the crisis. I've seen so many impressive actions in all parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina where activists and artists have actually managed to somehow push their ideas and to share experiences about COVID. When we started creating this panel, we wanted to have people that are active in different fields of art. And that is why it's very important for us to be to actually share ideas as much as we can. So now we come to the point of the panel which we've called meeting point, and I would like to invite you to introduce yourselves. Just tell us who you are, what are you doing at the moment, and what is your favorite artistic practice or work of art during the pandemic. We can start with Ms. Sabine.
Yes, hello Elma, hello everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for inviting me today. It's my pleasure to see you at least online. And like everybody else, I'm so looking forward to have real meetings. My name is Sabine Ekrnthaller. I am the head of the Austrian Cultural Forum, which is part of the Austrian Embassy and part of a worldwide network of Austrian Cultural Fora worldwide, which are numbering up to 30. We are the youngest. We started our activities in December 2018. And I was very happy that I got this position to open this cultural forum in Sarajevo, because it was high time to have one here. And there are so many possibilities because of the strong ties between Austria and Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I'm very happy to be here. Also, like everybody else, the pandemic is giving a little break of everything, but we all try to find different ways of creativity and information channels. So I'm from Austria. I have lived in different countries. I'm a diplomat for many years, but I found my passion in the arts, I have to say, because in former countries I did it on the side, next to all the daily tasks you have at an embassy. My real passion was there. And why? Actually, I have to say, because I really strongly believe to the arts, to culture, or in a broader sense, also education, certainly, and science, you can touch so many topics, you can move a lot, you can contribute a lot as a foreign embassy, as a foreign institution in another country, and moreover, you can establish so many contacts between the two countries. And that's why I absolutely love this kind of job. I wouldn't call it a job. It's
it's a mission.
It's a lifestyle. So happy to be here today with you.
Okay. So can you share maybe one special work of art that you've seen during the pandemic, or some artistical practice that was interesting for you during this period of isolation and
on a personal level, you mean, or
on a personal level?
Okay. Well, I tried for a while. I tried to be modern and really registered for Netflix. After 2 weeks, I found out, no, this is not the way I want to live now.
Okay.
And I started ordering books again, and it made me very happy. So my favorite art in that time was books, and certainly I did consume in the evening sometimes concerts, but I still miss the atmosphere of a live concert, I have to say. But I don't have any fancy favorite art during the pandemic to report. I didn't stand on my balcony and sing. It was actually literature, having more peace for reading.
Okay, thank you very much. Marina, can you please proceed?
Yeah, I'm the founder, manager and art director of the Street Arts Festival Mostar, which exists since 2012. As Sabine said, that is, I will say as well, that is my passion and lifestyle, and I invest 10 years of my life of creating that project. And now, in this moment, I'm focused of planning and organizing together with my team the 10th anniversary of the Street Arts Festival in Mostar this year. And that is really amazing experience for me to be involved in creating all the process. And to be honest, that isn't my real job, that I can earn money or something like that. I practically, together with my team, volunteer for the whole idea because we have big passion to bring the city of Mostar something urban, some art on the street, and this started to be a really big movement. So now in Mostar exists more than 200 murals, and we are one of the biggest open-air gallery on the Balkans and region. And last year, when all pandemic started and when we all was in chaos, I thought that we couldn't realize the festival. Then I spoke with my team, and they told like, let's try, because our festival is on the street, and it's a very important thing to
the only safe environment now.
Yeah. So our main activities are the murals, and other off programs like concerts or exhibition are just one part of the festival. So last year we couldn't host the artists from some other country, but we managed a really amazing festival, and I hope that this year will be also amazing. And I'm always focused on work on the festival and also on some other projects. My real job is coordinator of the American Corner Mostar, and there also I organize so many programs for youth. And my hobby is music, DJing. I was playing guitar and piano when I was much more younger, and DJing something for my creativity. But during pandemic, I was focused to create more mixes. But I didn't record the live stream or something like that. And in future, I would love to make my music, to produce music, if I will have time, because now I'm full of work, and then we will see. So I'm practically not from Mostar. I'm from Kupres, that is one small city in mountain, but I live here 18 years, and I really love Mostar, and sometimes this crazy environment and all problems that we have, it motivates me to be productive and to bring something to this city. So I'm really proud active citizen of Mostar.
Thank you, Marina, very much. Tuzla, Sarajevo is calling. Are you there?
Yeah, it's unavoidable to have that Eurosong feeling when we are having these Zoom seminars, webinars, and so on. Hi, everybody. I am Mirza. I am actor and executive director at National Theatre Tuzla. I see some familiar faces. Austrian Cultural Forum was very much involved in one of our production that we had with Alpha Group from Austria. Wonderful experience, cut out by this pandemic. We are very regretful that we didn't have the opportunity to continue working on that. It's very nice to be here to talk about something that we are living every day 24/7. So when we were discussing as a preparation for this event, actually there's nothing to prepare, because this is something that we live every day, and this is something that is ongoing in our lives, and it's not hypothetical question about how do you overcome obstacles. It's everyday existential question for us. So it's good to talk about it. It's good to have opportunity to speak with some other people who are maybe living in some different environment or doing some other things. So yes, I come from the theater background. It's National Theatre Tuzla, the oldest theater in Bosnia and Herzegovina, huge mechanism. So you can imagine it's very hard to have that mechanism working in such difficult times. It's difficult in when there was no pandemic. So it's not much big of a change for us. It's always like pandemic-like state for us, but we try and we manage. I also, from a personal side of this introduction, yes, I am an actor and someone who's at the head of this huge theater, but I also come from civil society sector. I have a 10-year experience working in various civil society organizations like Zemlja Djece from Tuzla, and also Tuzla Community Foundation. I was also involved in cooperation with Save the Children, Northwest Balkans very much. So I have a privilege on taking a lot of different perspectives in terms of what I did in my life and where I am right now. So I think it's a good combination, especially in these very challenging times, you know, to think outside of the box. And public institution like national theaters, museums, and stuff like that. We work in certain very strict rules in terms of legislation and stuff like that. So when this very extraordinary time comes, it's important for us to have somewhere in your mind stored files on how you did it when you were an activist, or when you had you know to deal with certain problems and stuff like that. So yes, that's maybe a little bit too long introduction, but it's really nice.
It's an introduction to my next question, so thank you very much.
Yeah. We are chatting on Viber. We are, you know, in cooperation to have this going on smooth.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mirza, very much. Now we are going to our next speaker, Denis.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Denis Račić. I'm a visual artist. So far, I don't have a career that's long as, you know, the other speakers, but now for 5 years I've been active on the art scene of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the art scene of the region, and with occasional international exhibitions. I am the co-founder of the art duo Anima, which did 10 exhibitions in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the region from 2017 to 2019. After that, while I was working with my colleague Mirza Rahmanović in Anima, we started working with Plus Minus Fashion. So I also do some kind of visual identity for this brand, and actually we are doing printmaking on clothing, which is kind of a mix of modern design and really, you know, just classical art. So I've been doing that also since 2017, and until now I'm still doing it. We are launching collections every season, so with new content. Besides that, I have to say I'm not directing anything but my own, you know, artistic career and approach. So basically, yeah, that's kind of summarizing it right now.
Okay, thank you, Denis, very much. I would like to continue with you. So my first question in the next circle goes back to you. What are the obstacles if one Bosnian artist would like to become part of European artistic platform? What kind of possibilities do Bosnian artists have if they want to be part of Europe?
So
you are a freelancer and very young artist.
Yeah, basically, yes. I'm one of the actually few people who are engaging in a professional life in fine arts. So first of all, I have to say that it's quite it's quite culture in general in Bosnia and Herzegovina, as we all know, is a bit neglected. And fine art is probably the one that got the worst cards in it, because we had this old Yugoslavenian mechanism set up, and now that they're not functioning anymore, we never made the actual change to European practices. So Bosnia and Herzegovina is lacking a key structure for fine art. So people are basically not enrolling in the situations they should be as they progress with their careers. So of course, for every artist, it's kind of it's natural to go to bigger art stations, to go to bigger places, and to drive towards the centers in the world, right? So what I would mention as an issue in Bosnia and Herzegovina is actually more related to Bosnia and Herzegovina than related to anything. It's our mechanisms. For example, Bosnia and Herzegovina has the longest art export process probably in the world. And I'm not even kidding you. So we need.
So how many days you actually need if you want to prepare an exhibition in Berlin, for instance, and you have the experience? How many days do you need in order to prepare an exhibition in Berlin?
Well, the preparing is, just for shipping it, I need a month. So basically, I need to go to 3 ministries to export the work. Nothing is digitalized. Legally, they take from 15 days to 30 days to finish their paperwork. And if we see the same process is exactly same process we have in Serbia, they take 3 days. So it's a big problem. So what that means is that, for example, if we are doing exhibitions or somebody would call me up and say, Dance, we need your work in 20 days or 15 days, I probably can't do it. And at the same time, art sale platforms that are online, they often, basically they are set that you need to export the work that you sold in 15 days, for example. So we are failing massively at this at this stage.
Yeah, but still, it's possible if you want. Yeah.
Of course, it's possible. Of course, if you have a project that's a long-term project, then you can plan it out. But in short term or in a term of sales, actually, which is another issue that Bosnia and Herzegovina has, actually don't have a art market. So we're basically not connected to the worldwide art market. And this is a good reason for it. And also it's a good reason while we sometimes fail to as artists to actually work with European galleries, because first of all, we are a lot of paperwork. We are expensive. We have, I think, I'm not sure on this one, but I think we have a lot of taxes while exporting art also. We are expensive and we take a lot of time. So, yeah, so that are basically, summarized issues.
Yeah, but we have very good artists, indeed.
We have a beautiful art scene because Bosnia and Herzegovina is, of course, culturally such a rich place. And of course, everything politically going on, it just generates art. So maybe the biggest problem here is that we lack the opportunity to actually channel this art to Europe and beyond. Of course, there are projects. I would also say there are good practices. For instance, there are a lot of art residencies, which are either provided by certain states or certain foundations or certain what's the word I'm searching for? Certain organizations. So that's a good opportunity for an artist actually to go somewhere, to get involved in the cultural life and to actually have a month or two of artists, practice in a field which is developed. Also, I applaud the effort in schooling because when I was studying, and that was not really so long ago, we weren't doing a lot of exchange. But nowadays, I see people are really going for exchanges, and I think it's such a valuable, opportunity to go somewhere where you can actually experience everything and come back and bring it back to Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Okay, thank you, Dennis, very much. Ambassador Sattler has joined us, so I would like to greet him on behalf of our speakers. Ambassador.
Jutro, dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
Good to be with you.
It's such a privilege to have you with us today. We have been talking about positive practices, artistic practices in period when it's no longer appreciated to be positive. So I would like to ask you to share with us some of your favorite Bosnian Herzegovinian cultural artists or works of art or heritage pieces. What has been important for you during the COVID period when it comes to art?
Thank you. First of all, thanks, Belma, for bringing us together here today. This is Europe Week. This is the biggest week for us in the European Union when we take a step back and try to get out of the doom and gloom. There's a lot of doom and gloom. Part of the doom and gloom here is now, of course, everywhere because of the pandemic. But then, especially when it comes to Bosnia and Herzegovina, there's in general a lot of doom and gloom. And also, by the way, you know, there's within the European Union, there's a lot of criticism that we're not going in the right direction. There are numerous problems which we face, be it the environmental issues, being populism, being social injustices, you name it. But I think this is also the week now to take a step back and really underline and acknowledge what has been achieved. You know, I think for me, this is still a miracle what has happened starting in 1950 on the ruins of the Second World War, 50 million people killed. And then these guys, this French Foreign Minister Schuman, basically proposing, and they were in a much stronger position, but proposing to put together the coal and steel industries. By the way, here on this one, there's an interesting point, because in his memoirs later he writes, if I would start again the European project, I would start with culture. And it's a very interesting notion, because basically boils down to the fact that culture, literature, painting, music is the one thing which connects people the easiest. But anyway, I mean, he started with coal and steel, and it was incredibly important because it made wars much more difficult from then onwards. Now we are 71 years later. We didn't have wars in the European Union. Yes, we had a devastating war here. That's why it's so important that we integrate this region quickly into the European Union. But there were no wars for 71 years. There is unprecedented economic benefits for everyone. If you compare the living standards, I mean, there is no comparison. And I think this is something also we have to sometimes acknowledge with all the problems there are, and do not want to belittle them, but there is really also reason to celebrate. I remember for me, studying beginning of the 90s, it wasn't so easy to get scholarships. There was no Erasmus then yet. Today for my two daughters, they're 20 and 22. They are everywhere. My elder one is now going to London for studying. The younger one was in Spain. So this is a completely normal thing. By the way, I'm very happy that Erasmus Plus, this what you all know, including this region also in the Erasmus programs, the budget has been doubled for this next financing circle from 21 to 27. This is what we need to really include this region wherever we can, and we do it on many levels into the European mainstream. Creative Europe is another one, which I'm happy that there has been quite an increase by, I think, 10% or so for this financing period from 21 to 27. And I'm also happy to see that here on the ground, we have been implementing some projects. I had this information prepared for me this morning. We had about 100 projects from 2014 under Creative Europe here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, about 3 million euro, working with, I hope, also some of you. I know we work with the Historical Museum, with the Philharmonic, but also we work a lot with film festivals, the different ones, and we try to really broaden our engagement, not just to the better known actors here on the ground. So this is, in a nutshell, I think what we should also do sometimes, take a step back and see what we actually have achieved. You asked me what, I mean, there are so many things which are beautiful here in this country. And by the way, one little anecdote, I was the happiest person on Friday evening being in the Historical Museum with you and celebrating, but especially also being able, after such a long time, we basically had to cancel all events, all major events. For the first time, having a very limited number of guests, namely 30. This is what currently allowed, and to just be together. Human beings are social animals. And this is so important. I was the happiest person. doing this exhibition together with you and Ricardo Truskic. So you asked me, he inspires me. And this is one guy who inspires. For instance, I have a big painting of his hanging also in my office. And I mentioned the doom and gloom. There's a lot of it, especially in politics here. Dennis has mentioned the political atmosphere here. But when I look at his pictures and his paintings, it gives me hope. To be honest, and let me conclude, because I want to listen to you guys. There is hope. This year, there is a chance for this country to move forward. It doesn't seem like it at the moment. There's a lot of sniping. There's a lot of divisive rhetoric. But just yesterday, all 27 foreign ministers discussed Bosnia and Herzegovina. There is an interest in this country. We must not let this become kind of a black hole. We have to invest here. And you can rest assured that I, together with my team here, do everything we can, and together with the member states. I'm happy to have here Sabine from the Austrian Cultural Forum here, that we really push and use this year effectively in order to make a step towards the European Union, because otherwise people, and especially young people, will just continue voting with their feet and leaving this beautiful place.
Thank you, Ambassador Sattler. I surely share your experience of Friday. It was one of the best moments of my professional life during COVID. And the night was full of illusions of normality. So thank you for entrusting the exhibition and one part of the project to History Museum of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It was such a pleasure to have you with us. Now I would like to continue again with Mirza. And since we've talked about the usage of art during the pandemic, how can a theater be a generator in overcoming the crisis? Can theater actually help us to share experiences, to become aware that we are not alone in this situation?
Thank you, Elma. Well, personally, I learned a lot, and I from my personal experience during the wartime, there was a general opinion that art and theater were some sort of coping mechanism for people who live, especially in the siege, under the siege in Sarajevo. As a student at the Academy of Drama Arts, I usually had the opportunity to hear people speak about some great theater productions in the occupied Sarajevo, and it was always stated as some sort of escapism in terms of the situation where people were. So today we have a living monument of the things that I'm now trying to explain. The Sarajevo War Theater. It was made during those hard times for people because it had some sort of purpose. I have to be honest and say that in some, of course, not that large scale, but in some terms, I felt the same way during the March of 2020, when we had this extraordinary situation in which we knew we had a very few information about what is going on and how much it will last. And it was important for us. In your introduction, you said art is not workplace, it's not a job, it's the mission, it's the way of life. So when we are speaking about my theater house, National Theater Tuzla, you had people who were afraid for a short period of time, and the people who really loved their jobs and wanted to do something with it. So I'm not saying something new, because we all have had the opportunity to see it, but the theaters were the first one to have some sort of just adjustment of their everyday work to pandemic. So we just migrated to online form, and it was really inspiring to see and to feel the feedback of people about how important when you're having 4 shows a week, you know, in that terms it is a job. But when you see how much your work means to people, it gives you huge responsibility to do even more. And I have to say, people of theater, especially the people who belong to older generations, they have their reservations in terms of they are not fond of online theater or that kind of communication with audience. But I have to say that will and love for work had overcome that issue. So people who I personally know that are not fond even of phones, smartphones and stuff like that, you know, were somehow they became experts in Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So it all makes sense when you see how much it means to people. Theater is in its nature, it's made of human contact between actors on stage, human contact with audience. So it's not the luckiest solution, but when you put it on the table, you will be doing this like this, or you won't be able to do it at all. So it's an easy choice, and we did a lot. We did a lot during the first lockdown in period of March, April, and maybe a little bit of May. And there was a lot of improvisation, but in that really hard time, personally, emotionally hard time, I think the best comes out of people.
Yes.
I'm a bit mad because we need pandemic to see how good people we are. We should be more good without these extraordinary times that we live in now. But it really hope is unexpected outcome for me. With all suspicious about online theater and stuff like that, you know, hope is something that I would that I would emphasize as a biggest outcome of our struggle to do our work in some different form.
Yeah. Thank you, Mirza, very much for sharing your experience about reaching the audience. Personally, I've been missing the audience so much. You know how sometimes you get annoyed by so many museum users? That was my mood sometimes before the pandemic started, because I live in the museum basically. But when the pandemic started, I became so sad not being able to see or hear different languages, or to actually experience the noise of the museum. So I'm really looking forward to the possibility of having international visitors again. Although we appreciate working with locals as well, but it would be very important to have international guests as well, because culture is helping us to cross over borders. And to get to know each other better and to share experiences. Sabine, I would now really like to share some ideas with you and to see, since you have been supporting numerous events, artists and organizations, what are your proudest achievements? Can you please share that with us?
That's a difficult question. It's like asking which is your favorite child. And maybe proud is also the wrong term for that, because the achievement is always on the other side. We just promote and motivate. Maybe let me mention, because Mirza is here and he just mentioned it, I think one of the projects which I was really moved by was Uymeot in the name of the father, where the premiere took place in Mirzi's house in, when was it? 2018, was it? No, 19. I'm getting so confused in the pandemic, I don't know anymore, in a year. 2 years ago, I think.
Yes.
So shortly explained, this is a theater dance performance, documentary performance on the topic of children born in war. I don't have to explain to you, but just in case somebody is watching this, children born in war, meaning children, so-called children who are now adults who have been born during the last war here and whose fathers were unknown, who most of the time raped their mothers, or in some cases it was also foreign UN soldiers who just left and had this child here. And so basically they never get to know their father, their identity, and this topic was always, it was not mentioned, it was kind of skipped. It was a very difficult topic for the whole society. And on that evening in Tuzla, so this so-called children, these young adults stood on the stage and told their story, their life story, and the story of their mothers. And the theater was completely crowded. And I don't know, Mirza, maybe you can confirm, but it was really overwhelming, this sense of solidarity, this sense of relief also, that because these young people are the future, and to bring up this topic and look at it. And so this is one of the projects, I think, which is a very good example of dialogue. Because
and on how much theater is important in dealing with important issues.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Children born of war is a new expression that people generally don't use or don't know what it means. But it's incredible how much art, in this case theater, can affect a society for some topic to be open. How many interviews, how many news reports came out of that theater production. It's a really good example, and thank you for sharing it with us. You know how much art is important, not just in being fun or entertaining, but in also being able to deal with the hardest questions. And since it's sensitive topic in terms of war crimes, usually those kind of stories cannot cross this entity border, because something you play in Tuzla might not feel good for someone somewhere else. This is not the case. If you are universally speaking a story about personal tragedy of one person or more persons, then we don't have borders. And I think it's really important, you know, for us to be talking about it and to do those kind of things, because that's exactly, Elma, what we are talking about here: crossing borders in pandemic, in all extraordinary situation. And the post-war time is one long extraordinary situation that we live in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Sorry, Sabina, you gave me a cue. You gave me a cue.
But this is just it, what you mentioned, what made me a bit sad in this pandemic time, not only here in Austria and everywhere, that suddenly artists seem to have the need to explain themselves, to find a way of explaining to everybody, why do we need culture? Why do we need cultural projects? What's the meaning of it? And I think this is completely the wrong direction. I mean, this is, I would say, just like the air we need to breathe. This is the essential of every society. And on the contrary, just in times like this, they should find much more support, they and the institutions making this possible. So, yeah, this is just a small side note. And there are so many projects. Maybe let me just also mention one of the physical ones we had this year, and I was also so very happy finally to have a real exhibition going on. Was in the Collegium Artisticum in March, called The Smile of the Sphinx, which was a collection of female artists, not only Austrians, many of them based in Austria, many was from here, but international. And the title is from a story of our famous poetress and writer Ingeborg Bachmann. And this would go too far now to explain the whole background, but it was a wonderful exhibition in the Collegium Artisticum, and it was a real one. And I also could feel like suddenly just seeing pieces of art. I wanted to touch them. So this was in this year, which was going on, which made us very happy to finally have something. But further on, we try now more to connect, because also of the situation, to connect into existing networks and share and give a share there. And like there's a series of music workshops from the music school in Prijedor all over the country, trying also to give some education on Austrian music on a very innovative way. Or we have a very strong cooperation with the House of Good Tones in Srebrenica, this music school, and they won also, I think, one of these Creative Europe calls, and have a huge project in music education with other countries. And it is in the framework of UNIC, certainly always trying to cooperate with other European Union embassies and cultural institutes in order to develop together some projects with local stakeholders in the field of arts and science as well.
Thank you, Sabine. Now we are traveling to Mostar again. Marina? Can you tell us more about Street Art Festival this year and how you are dealing with the challenges of the pandemic?
As I said in the beginning, we are lucky because we are working in public space.
Sorry for one quick question. Did the audience, do you have more audience now than before the pandemic? Did the perspective of street art change during the pandemic?
Yeah, maybe in a touristic way, because Mostar is a touristic city and we didn't have so many tourists last year as before, because murals became a touristic attraction. And all tourists walking around, take photos, ask us to explain them what we are doing. But last year we didn't have tourism, like on some Bosnia and Herzegovina level. But when we are working on production of the festival, it is not so much important that we have, like, when artists paint a mural, like to have audience, because we will have, because it is on the street and people passing by all the time, and people who are living in that buildings go out, talk with artists, make them coffee, and there is so many spontaneous social reactions between like, and we create just platform to see what will happen, you know. But when we finish the project, like every year, then we see how many reactions we will have. Like, people take photos, contact us. We saw so many blogs from people who are coming Mostar and write about us and admire on art on the street. But as I said in the beginning, we have also exhibition, music events, theater, performances. That is a good thing to connect all people who are involved in festival together, you know, on that kind of events. And before, we also have problems like to have, you know, before you always wondering, will we have enough people on events? Will they all show up? Blah, blah, blah. And last year we have experienced that we had best events ever. I don't know how, but it was really perfect energy, because...
have you been DJing?
I'm not, because when I organize festival, I don't want to DJ because it is
Okay.
so many work. But we had like a really great hip hop event on one playground near the old city. And that playground was completely abandoned and so dirty. And before 2 years, we started to make urban reconstruction to clean the place and prepare for youth activities. And there we have a graffiti event, hip hop, and I don't know, it was allowed maybe 100 people to be there last year. And we had 100 people, and more of them want to come, but they couldn't come. But and also we have beautiful event in the nature, and with events, it's main goal to connect people who are involved in festival, because we had 50 people on the festival and volunteers and our partners and friends. You know, it is just a beautiful energy. And this year, it is 10th year of the festival. We are planning 10 big size murals on a really attractive locations. We hope that we could host.
Are we invited?
Yes, of course. Please be our guests. And we plan to host artists from, of course, from some of them from Bosnia and Hercegovina, Germany, Italy, Croatia, Spain, Ecuador, Turkey. I hope also from the United States. So many artists from all around the world contact us and want to come. And it is a really amazing experience for me to cooperate with professionals who are living street art every day, you know, who are paint really big, large scale murals. And also we are also planning a hip hop event, graffiti jam with mainly artists from Bosnia and Herzegovina, graffiti artists. We also planning opening performance in the old city. I hope that it will be allowed, and one light performance, I will say, and light intervention and music event, and also some kind of exhibition. Still, we are working on structure of the programs, but we have some kind of confirmed lineup by the artists. But also we must working on the crisis plans, like if they couldn't come, what we will do.
What is the backup?
There is much more work, but last year we show really big professionalism because we know that we couldn't host artists from other countries, and then we made a lineup of artists from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Croatia, and probably this year we will make some crisis plan, but I think that will be okay. We are working a lot today. Also, we have meetings every week, 2-3 meetings and planning, and we will start also some activities this month with art residencies, and in June and July that will be preparation activities for the festival, and then festival in September. It is really amazing when we have a continuity, you know.
Yes, yes.
This year is first time that we get support and grants to have continuity, like not only for the festival, to have some preparation activities as is art residency, where we host only one artist and have only time for them or her, you know. And I hope that we could manage some project after the festival who can be long-term project for all year. And for me, I think that art needs a place in a public space, you know. Perfect to have galleries. In Mostar, we don't have so much galleries or some kind of urban places for youth, for exhibition or something like that. But I think that is really important when we put art on the street, like, and when can all people connect with that art, like. We have experience that people who are maybe don't go in galleries or in theater, or just when artists create art in public space, they are just want to be part of it, you know, ask questions, admire of it, and it is also some kind of education, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marina. You have so many plans for this year. I hope that
so many
you will manage to achieve all of your goals, and I hope that we will
And of course,
be able to participate.
Yeah, you are all invited in Mostar.
Thank you very much.
I will send you all invitation. It will be great that you can come, or after, or if any one of you will come in Mostar, feel free to contact me to lead you in a small street art tour, to host you in our youth center Abrašević, talk to you. It is amazing to meet new people and share experience. So that is also amazing in this culture management.
When are your big events? Can you tell us that?
Sorry?
When are your events?
Festival is from 3rd until 13th of September. But this month we start with art residency on 24th of May. So, but whenever you come, there is a beautiful, there is one Šantića street that is one of the main streets in the middle of the city, who was completely destroyed during the war. Now is the Mural Street, because there we had really big support from the citizens, the people who live in the buildings, and they apply us walls like, please come paint here, and then they sign all documents, and this year also we plan 3 more murals day, and that is really amazing place, because you are surrounded by so many art in one specific place.
Thank you, Marina. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We will have to conclude our panel for today, but I really hope that this discussion is going to continue in so many other ways. Now I would like to invite Ambassador Sattler to share his thoughts on revival and recovery. Please inspire us.
I'm inspired already by you. So thanks to all of you who have been here this morning with us, with your inspiring stories. I must say, first of all, I envy you and Sabine, because you can spend a good part of your time, if not almost everything, on culture. I remember faintly my days as bilateral Austrian ambassador. The good thing there is, we have about, this is an official part of our, and a very important part of our diplomacy work. I spent anything between 20 and 30% on culture. This is a luxury I do not have, unfortunately, in my current position. It's too much politics, but I'm happy that I have at least, the Creative Europe, so we can do something. We are a player. We have a budget, but I would like to do more. This is my pledge for this year, coming out of the pandemic, and also seeing, what culture can achieve in bringing people together. What Mirzi put so nicely, this crisis brings out the best in people. Yes, it brings out sometimes bad things, but the overwhelming thing is that it brings out good things and solidarity. And this always reminds me, and hope. This always reminds me of the quote of one of my favorite German painters, Gerhard Richter, who said, "Art is the highest form of hope." And I think really something about it. Art is the highest form of hope, and we really are privileged. All of you are privileged in working in that field. Yes, keep inspiring us. Looking forward to going to attend your performances, theater plays, going to Mostar. By the way, Mostar is big on my personal agenda. Also, of course, because we could help there a little bit to deblock the political situation, and now finally have a city government again and opposition. We have oversight over the city. There is so many problems which have been piling up in the city over the last 10, 12 years. And we can't wait to get back there to Mostar to do more. I was very happy because this was one thing I pushed in Brussels to get extra money for a music festival in Mostar. And I'm very happy that we got the green light. And it's also going to be, I understand now, in September. So Marina, we're going to see each other there for sure. and also member states are invited and also are thinking, I don't know, Sabine, if Austria also can chip in here, having super.
Is that Mostar Summer Festival?
Yes. This is what it is, and this should become, a signature initiative, a yearly event, bringing together locals, but also tourists. Also, the tourism potential has been completely underused in Mostar. This is, a city where people could spend really a week, basically. If you look at the statistics, I think it's one of the lowest in BiH. Tourists spend 1.3 days only in Mostar, and this has to do with a lack also of cultural offer. And here we wanted to come in, and I'm happy to see that there are many other initiatives coming up. So I'm looking forward to all of that, and I want to thank you for having inspired me.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. So we will close the session now. I wish you a good health. Keep the physical distance, but let's stay culturally connected. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and ideas with us today.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Elma.
And see you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Vidimo se.
Idemo se.
Bye.